ln x to the power of n, you can write it as n ln x. Number 2, ln x plus ln y equals ln xy. So if you have ln x times y equals ln x plus ln y. So I prefer to use it when I give you differentiate ln product of two functions, split it to be addition, then find differentiation of each. I will tell you how to differentiate, but I need the first 3 rules. ln x minus ln y equals, as a single logarithm, ln x over y. So if you have ln x over y equals ln x minus ln y. Now, how to differentiate a function included ln? If we have y is equal ln of a function f of x, so its derivative dy by dx is equal fraction. Write in the denominator the function, whatever, this function, polynomial, exponential, trigonometric, and its derivative up. That's it. Write the function in the denominator and its derivative up without any logarithm. For example, if y equals ln x, how to get y dash? Fraction. Write this function in the denominator and its derivative up will be 1. Y is equal ln x squared minus 2x plus 3. How to get derivative of this function? Fraction. Write in the denominator x squared minus 2x plus 3. Its derivative up will be 2x minus 2. If y written like this, ln a function f of x all to the power of n. Yes, this is why I explained 1, 2, 3 for logarithm. It's better to start first, drop n, and write ln f of x, so you can get y dash. N is a constant value, leave it. We explain how to get derivative of ln f of x. Fraction f dash x over f of x. For example, if I give you y equals ln 3x squared plus 2x all to the power of 5. Before differentiate, it's better to write y is 5 ln 3x squared plus 2x. Then start to differentiate. Y dash is 5 is constant, leave it. Ln fraction 3x squared plus 2x up will be 6x plus 2. 5 multiplied by the numerator, 5 over 1. It's not multiplied by denominator and denominator the same. No, it's 5 up, so you can write like this. 5 multiplied by 6x plus 2. You can expand and simplify. You can leave your answer, no problem. If I give you a question, y is ln cubic root of 2x minus 1. How to differentiate? I prefer first to write it power third, then drop third, then start to differentiate. Y is third ln 2x minus 1. To differentiate, y dash is third, then fraction, write the denominator 2x minus 1, its derivative up is 2. You can simplify and write 2 divided by 3 multiplied by 2x minus 1. This is number 1. Number 2, if y equals ln, a product of two functions inside like this, I prefer to split it. But you can differentiate. You can differentiate direct. How? You can say, okay, y dash is, write down f of x multiplied by g of x. Then its derivative up. Its derivative up is a product of two functions. You have to say f dash x multiplied by g of x plus g dash x multiplied by f of x. But I prefer to split it into addition, then differentiate each. So if you write it first, y equals ln f of x plus ln g of x. If it is plus or minus, separate. Find derivative of each. So y dash is f dash x over f of x plus g dash x over g of x. Clear? You can get the same answer if you get it a single fraction. If you try now to simplify and get it as a single fraction, will be f of x g of x cross will be f dash x multiplied by g of x plus g dash x into f of x. So same answer. So for example, if y equals ln 3x squared plus 1 multiplied by 5x minus 3. First, split it into functions, addition. First, before differentiate, write it ln 3x squared plus 1 plus ln f of x minus 3, then y dash is. How to differentiate the first one? Fraction 3x squared plus 1, its derivative up will be 6x plus fraction 5x minus 3, its derivative up will be 5. You can find a single fraction. If I ask, write your answer. No need, leave it. By the same way for division. If it is given y equals ln f of x divided by g of x, you can differentiate directly. How? I will get y dash. But see, the form will be like fraction. You can find derivative directly. Fraction. Write the function down. You will write f of x divided by g of x, right? Its derivative up. It's u over v. U over v, fraction. Then find f dash x times g of x minus g dash of x multiplied by f of x divided by g of x all squared and simplify. But I prefer to split it into, then differentiate. So it's better to write like this, ln f of x minus ln g of x. To get y dash, just write fraction, f x down, its derivative up, minus fraction g of x, its derivative up. If I ask you to get it single fraction, do it. If it is not, no need. Leave your answer as it is. If I ask you to get the stationary point, you have to complete to get it a single fraction equals 0 and solve. But in case if there is no question, ask it differentiate only. Ask it to differentiate, ask to find the nature of the stationary point. So you have to you can after get the two fractions equal 0. Equal 0, you have two ways. You can shift to the other side, cross multiplication, and solve the equation. Or you can get it as a single fraction, equal 0. In case if we have fraction equal 0, so numerator only equals 0. I will give example about this. Now we'll start to solve the question. I explained how to differentiate ln. just fraction f dash x over f of x, and give 3 examples about using the logarithm rules. Now let's start to solve the question number 1 from your textbook. Part A. What is the answer of part A? Fraction, 2x down, 2 up, simplify more, 1 over x. Clear? Second one. Fraction, 4x minus 3, up is 4. Leave it. Next, how to differentiate this? Write it first as a power of half, then drop the power, then differentiate. I will write it first, y equals half ln 5 minus x. Then start to differentiate, leave 1 over 2, fraction, write down 5 minus x, its derivative up will be negative 1. So the final answer is negative 1 divided by 2, 5 minus x. Question number 2. Differentiate. The first one, how to differentiate part A? No, it's not ln. U and V. Use U and V. Use. This is U and this is V. It's a product of 2 functions. Show the difference between when I ask you to get, let's say, 3 ln x and 3x squared ln x. 3 is a constant, so you can leave it and find the derivative of ln x only. But in case of 3x squared is a variable, so it's a product of 2 functions. Use u times v. Even if it is constant and you apply u over u times v, you will get the same answer. But please, when you have a product of 2 functions, don't forget to use u and v. 2x squared power 4 is a u, and ln 5 as v. So I will write u dash times v plus v dash times u. Start to differentiate the first one. Differentiate of 2x squared. Differentiate of 2x power 4 is 8x to the power of 3. Differentiation first. Multiply by second. Second is ln 5x plus. Differentiate of second. Fraction. Its denominator down is 5x. Its derivative up will be 5. Multiplied by 2x to the power 4. Then simplify more. Again, a product of 2 functions, u times v, u dash times v plus v dash times u. Simplify. You can leave the first expression 8x to the power 3 is ln 5x plus. You can cancel 5 by 5. You can cancel x with x power 4 to be x power 3. So the final answer is 2x to the power of 3. Later, if I ask you to get a stationary point equal to 0, factorized by common factor, then continue to solve your equation. This is part A. Part B. How to differentiate part B? U, it's not a single logarithm to split it. If it is ln between bracket, you can split it into minus. We have ln up only. So u over v. It's not a single logarithm and you want to split it into 2. ln only for the numerator. Use u over v. This function is u. This function is v. And apply equation rule. U dash times v minus v dash times u divided by v squared. Show the difference between part A and B. Part A product of 2 functions, u times v. u dash times v plus v dash times u. Second one is a quotient. We have division, u over v. Differentiation of first is ln. So I have to write fraction. Its denominator will be 2x, and its denominator will be 2. Derivative of first. Multiply by second, which is x cubed minus. Differentiation of second will be 3x squared times first, which will be ln 2x. Divided by what? X to the power of x power 3 power 2 will be x power 6. You can simplify, yes, cancel. From the rule, v squared, denominator squared. Cancel 2 with 2. X cubed divided by x will be x squared minus 3x squared ln 2x, all divided by x to the power of 6. You can simplify more. How? By taking x squared outside common. Then 1 minus 3 ln 2x, all divided by x power of 6. Divided by x squared, so 1 minus 3 ln 2x, all divided by x to the power of what? To the power of 4. By looking at exercise 4D, now I think clear part A, how to differentiate?
Yes.
Fraction 3x 3. Part B, fraction 7x 7. Part C, 2x plus 1 down and up 2. D, 5 plus. Show the difference: plus, minus, multiply, divide. For differentiation in general, if say we have a function f of x plus g of x, if y is a sum or is a difference, differentiate separately, if plus or minus. But divide or multiply done by quotient rule or product rule. So if it is a sum or plus, I will get f dash x, then keep plus or minus, then get g dash x. So 5 plus, differentiation of 5 is 0. Then we explain today how to get ln. Part E, I prefer to drop the power, but you can differentiate directly. You will, how to differentiate directly without dropping, without drop 2? I will write fraction, as you said. The function down will be 2x minus 1 all squared. Its derivative up. How to differentiate power 2? Drop the power. You are right if expand, but no need. Drop the chain rule. Drop the power, then minus 1, then multiply by differentiation of the function. Drop 2, then minus 1, then multiplied by 2. Then simplify. Or as I said, drop 2 first, then differentiate. Part F. Part F, how to differentiate part F? Write power half, drop half, then start to differentiate. Start to look at part G, H, and I. Part G, drop 5 before start to differentiate. Part H, it's a plus, differentiate separately. 3x, its derivative is 3, plus ln 2 over x. You can split it first. So I prefer to part H is, or y function is 3x plus ln 2 minus ln x. Now, if you differentiate, 3x will be, ln 2 is, it's a constant. ln 2 constant value, its derivative is 0. Then derivative of ln x is 1 over x. Fraction x, derivative up will be 1. Part I prefer first to split ln to be ln2 minus ln1 minus 2x. Then start to do. What about 5x? It's a plus. Its derivative will be 5. But ln split it before differentiate. By looking at part I, part J, it's ln lnx. How to differentiate part J? We'll apply the rule. Listen, I will use this part. This is the function. This is the function which he asked to get its derivative. Fraction. Write in the denominator what? lnx. Then write up its derivative. lnx, its derivative direct will be what? Differentiation of lnx, fraction, write x down and its derivative up. So will be 1 over x divided by lnx. How to simplify? lnx, this is, use it as the function. This is the f of x. lnx. ln inside the function is lnx. How to get derivative of ln any function? Fraction. Write the function down and its derivative up. How to differentiate lnx? Again, fraction, write x, then its derivative up. Derivative of lnx, do what? Fraction, write the function down, its derivative up. But how to simplify your answer? It's 1 over x divided by lnx. You can write it like this, reciprocal. So the final answer is x lnx. The final answer will be 1 over x lnx. We explain like part K, drop the power, then ln2 minus root x. You can split it into two logarithms. Sorry, because it's minus or plus, we can drop 2 first. It's y2 ln2 minus root of x. Now I will start to differentiate. How to differentiate ln? Fraction. Write 2 minus root x. How to get derivative of negative root x? Write it x power of half. Then it's x power of half. Differentiate it will be negative half x to the power of negative half. You can drop it down to be positive and return to be root x. L. Split it first because we have here plus. Before splitting, if we try to get y dash, will be fraction. It's ln. Whatever, if you have ln here, leave it. How to get derivative? If you use this is to be a function, write the function down. F x plus lnx. Its derivative up will be 5 plus 1 over x. You can simplify multiplied by x up and down. By looking at part 3, question 3, all the questions depend on product and quotient rule. Multiplication u times v or division u over v. Look at part A. Start from part A. Use u and v. Part B. This is represent u and derivative of u times v is what? U dash times v plus v dash times u. Part C. U and v. Part D. U and v. Part E. Part F. Started from part F. U over v. How to get derivative u over v? U dash times v minus v dash times u divided by v squared. Question 4. Start to sketch the graph of ln, then differentiate. Do you remember the graph of lnx? lnx inverse of what? Inverse of e power of x How to differentiate e power of x? How to sketch ln x? Revise the logarithmic function. Graph of e power of x and its inverse ln x. Then the transformation of the graph. What? Yes. ln x, what is the domain of this function and what is the range? Function f of x started first with e power of x. What is the range and what is the domain? Y equals e power of x. What is the domain of this function and what is the range? As you said, correct, for the domain, all the real number. What is the range? More than 0. The range y greater than 0. We can write equal or not? No. The range, the values of y. But is this function one-to-one function? Is it one-to-one? E power of x, is it one-to-one? How do you know it's one-to-one function? الناس ال AS level لسه exams. Vertical line test or horizontal line test? Horizontal line test. You will get each one x, one y, one-to-one function. One value for y, one value for x. E power of x is a one-to-one function. So it has an inverse. How to get its inverse? One-to-one means for one value for y, there is only one value for x. I will show that graphically. For quadratic y, this function is not one-to-one. For one value for y, there are two values for x. See, if say 3, there is a value for x here and there is a value for x here. So it's not one-to-one. One-to-one function means one value for y, you will find only one value for x. So this function is one-to-one. Yes, e power of x is one-to-one function. So this function, it has an inverse.
What is the value of y?
If y equals e to the power of x, this is the value of x and this is the value of y. How to get its inverse? Switch x and y. So x equals e to the power of y. Then logarithm. ln for both sides. ln x equals y. If you write it, ln e power of y, then drop y, will be ln x is equal to y ln e, which is equal to 1. So now the function f of x is equal ln x. This is the inverse of what? E power of x. What is the relation between the function and its inverse? Reflection about y. Show the graph. This is e power of x, and this is the graph of ln x. There is a reflection about the straight line. Now, what is the domain and what is the range of this function? ln x. What is the domain? What is the range? Switch. Do you remember the domain of e power of x is what? So the range, all the real number. Do you remember the range? Y greater than 0. So x more than 0. This is why we said there is no logarithm for a negative value. Is not included in the domain of ln function. This is why when I ask you to get ln 0 is undefined, is not included in the domain. What is ln of negative 3 is not undefined because it's not belonging to the domain of this function. So please try to sketch any function you studied it before. Graph of linear, quadratic, cubic, exponential, logarithmic, and apply the transformation. If he asks you to sketch the graph of this function, there is translation, there is a stretch, so you can change the domain and the range for this function ln to x. So please try to apply graphs for any function you studied before. But I will explain part B only. Find the gradient as I said, all the application included for product, quotient, Ln, exponential, trigonometric. When I ask you to find the gradient of the curve, Ln 2x minus 3 at the point x is equal to 5. Differentiate, then substitute by 5.